Risk management does not compensate for ignorance or neglect, for not managing, or for not knowing what you're doing. Risk is uncertainty and the prospect for loss or gain depending on the outcome of an event. Once initiated, a project begins to succeed or fail. Unfortunately, a project may be headed for failure even before it starts. The discussion that follows explores the nature and dilemma of risk and how value can be systematically extracted despite the presence of risk using a blueprint for strategic software management. Risk is uncertainty and the prospect for loss or gain depending on the outcome of an event. An industrial strength software risk management practice is one that treats risk as uncertainty and carefully distinguishes risks from the sources of risk and problems. Since risk is uncertainty, the challenge is to calculate the uncertainty of a risk and accept only those risks whose joint probability of occurrence and prospect for loss or gain are prudent choices. These are considered calculated risk. Once initiated, a project begins to succeed or fail. Successful projects are those that establish goals and objectives, obtain a shared vision on these among all the stakeholders on the project, select the right prescription for success for the situation, and apply that prescription with adequate capability and practice. Specific project goals that define success for software projects may include user satisfaction, customer satisfaction, on-budget performance, zero-defect product, on-time delivery, conformance to requirements, and team satisfaction. Projects that fail lack a proactive focus on goals and have not discovered the right prescription for success. Consequently, problems dominate and are not confronted and resolved. Unfortunately, a project may be headed for failure even before it starts. The organization's strengths may not be well matched to the project goals. It is known that achieving certain goals favors certain prescriptions for success. For example, complying with cost and schedule commitments favors the well-managed organization, while achieving innovative breakthroughs may sometimes favor the maverick. When the application is not within the wheelhouse of the organization's capability, the project may live in fear and adopt risk-averse behaviors with little hope of a beneficial outcome. Even when the application is within its capability wheelhouse, the community predisposition towards risk adversity may promote a reluctance to work close enough to the edge in accepting the additional risk needed to achieve added value. Risk and value go hand in hand. Tom DeMarco reminds us that it is necessary to take risk in order to exploit opportunities. A common approach is to put a big toe in the water by making a minimum commitment and hope to get lucky. This is a low commitment, high risk tactic. The risk here is that the outcome being sought may be highly uncertain unless a sufficient commitment of resource is applied. Another approach is to take the plunge by making a full commitment of resources and sticking with it until it produces results where the value proposition is reevaluated. This is a high commitment, low risk strategy. There is evolving an overemphasis and dependence in both the acquisition and development communities on process conformance, standards, compliance, and risk adversity. Achieving innovation requires a paradigm shift towards creativity, increased experimentation, and risk-taking. Improving the attractiveness of opportunities is an important dimension of competitiveness. Higher levels of risk can be offset by higher levels of commitment, resources like cost, schedule, and staff. But it is not simply an issue of resources. Achieving value requires seeking out and taking prudent and calculated risk. While it is necessary to take risk to obtain value, simply taking risk does not in itself yield value. Readiness factors within the prescription for success are also involved, including software process maturity, application domain expertise, and technical architecture. The organization that possesses a low maturity in its software process capability brings a heightened level of risk to every project except the most trivial. Similarly, the enterprise new to the application domain or the technical architecture being applied brings a heightened level of risk to the project. While an enterprise that is low in both software process maturity and application domain expertise experiences high risk, it is unlikely that value will result. Business conditions and constraints associated with cost, schedule, and quality introduce additional sources of risk to the project. What type of risk, then, is associated with the generation of value? Here it is useful to consider the degree to which the uncertainty of risk is due to the unprecedented nature of the technology and application, and the degree to which innovation is required to succeed. If a project has not been done before, or has not been attempted by the organization, it is considered unprecedented. Just consider the first web-based municipal bond auction, or the initial deployment of the Global Positioning System, GPS. Projects that are unprecedented require innovation to overcome hurdles never cleared before, and to bridge gaps never bridged before. Does innovation only occur out of the blue, or can innovation be achieved more systematically through a persistent process of experimentation, fueled by increments of commitment and resources? Enterprises and nations alike would like to know the answer to this question. To what extent is the enterprise investment simply accommodating the unreadiness of the organization? To what extent is the enterprise investment bearing down on the essentials of the application domain and extending its perimeters through innovation? For those who judge innovation or seek to obtain patent protection for their idea, innovation is more than not done before. When viewed by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office or by the Internal Revenue Service in applying the Research and Engineering Tax Credit, an innovation must be useful and novel, and a non-obvious departure from prior art, the state of the art, or practice. For example, on GPS, it was necessary to shake the myth that the Earth was round and smooth, and actually measure the gravitational irregularities that impact satellite orbit and rotation time, necessary components for deriving very accurate position information. When governments and enterprises commit resources and funds to research and development, they are doing so in hopes of achieving innovative or perhaps even profound outcomes, ones that alter the direction of an industry, like inventing the internet or renovating navigation practice through GPS. Investors are not investing simply to train new personnel in the mathematics, physics, and business rules of a new application domain, or to improve the software process maturity of the organization. These actions are simply examples of the due diligence needed to accommodate the unreadiness of the organization. They are examples of R&D investment to achieve innovation. Risk is uncertainty, and the prospect for loss or gain should an event occur. As the enterprise is able to lower uncertainty without reducing the prospect for gain, an opportunity becomes increasingly attractive. The competitiveness of the enterprise increases as it is able to take calculated risks on ventures that extend, expand, and open market niches. The readiness factors that manage and control software risk are tied to strategic software management. The blueprint for strategic software management is a vision that assigns a premium to experience with the customer and his problem, the organization's products and its solutions, and the processes for management and engineering and operations that deliver and sustain them. The blueprint objectives are designed to achieve this goal by knowing what the customer needs most, aligning the best capability of the organization to provide it, understanding current practice, measuring its critical aspects, selecting the most promising changes, and planning for lasting improvements. The blueprint utilizes a set of models to guide an organization towards success along several tracks. The elements of strategic software management associated with product, process, and support include shared vision among stakeholders, software engineering process maturity, software project management, software product engineering, operations support, and domain-specific architecture. When mature and well-aligned, these prescriptions serve to counter problems of all kinds, from symptoms to common problems to root causes. When immature and not well-aligned, we see the symptoms, common problems, and root causes of problems, both old and new, emerge to test these prescriptions and stress them to their limit. We see the risks and uncertainties playing out today with an immature software engineering profession as the root cause, paired with the common problems associated with the elusiveness of trustworthiness and resilience, cybersecurity threats, STEM shortfall, offshore outsourcing, global competitiveness challenges, and software supply chain risk management assurance. Forging a shared vision among the stakeholders on the project is a prerequisite to success. Buyers, users, and maintenance custodians, as well as developing managers and technicians, need a common understanding of project goals, prescription for success, and problems. Forging a shared vision among the stakeholders on a project requires stimulating interfaces among stakeholder pairs, that is, buyer and user, developer and user, maintainer and developer, and buyer and developer, nurturing a cooperative tone in the relationship and permitting pushback. The Software Engineering Institute's Software Engineering Process Maturity Framework is composed of 5 levels. The initial stage is characterized by no orderly process and an absence of expectation. The second level has defined processes for managing software costs, schedule, and change, all necessary to sustain the commitment process on the project. Level 3 has defined processes for technology, such as systematic design and the technology transition mechanisms that assist its application throughout the organization, such as software engineering process groups. Level 4 has initiated process and product measurements. Level 5 utilizes the process measures systematically to continuously improve the process and its products. Software project management is based on the commitment management paradigm: planning, controlling, and measuring. Planning includes activities and products, tasks and responsibilities, and cost and schedule estimation. Controlling the process includes schedule control using a software development plan, cost control using earned value and design to cost, status reviews, and disciplined action closure. Controlling the product includes establishing a baseline, maintaining traceability, and controlling change, as well as product inspections, testing, and software quality assurance. Measuring is directed at improving predictability and includes the systematic collection of metrics, data on size, effort, time, error rates, change rates, and user satisfaction. Software product engineering is based on the lifecycle activities and the methods and tools used in each activity. Lifecycle evolution is progressing from a sequential waterfall model to a feedback model with rapid prototyping and incremental development, to even more integrated models based on reuse and re-engineering. Each model has defined activities, For example, the sequential model activities include requirements, specification, design, development, test, and operations. Each activity might utilize a method or paradigm. Each method might be supported by a tool set, where the tools from multiple activities are integrated in a user interface and underlying operations on objects. A software development environment emerges. Operations support is based on creating software products that produce the right answers on time, every time, using processes that are dependable with respect to cost and schedule, and sustaining the software product and the processes used to create it. The maturity of the domain-specific architecture is determined by the breadth and depth of recorded experience on the models, methods, and paradigms used in the application domain. Breadth includes the functionality associated with operating system, communication interface, database management system, user interface management system, and application-specific capabilities. Depth measures the maturity of each element of functionality on a continuum including industrial standardization, integrating context, standalone capability, and piecemeal service. Experience has shown that organizations evolve their prescriptions for success in different ways depending on the goals that are most highly valued. An organization may develop a dependency on a cluster of strategic software management blueprint elements while neglecting others. While there may be many paths to success, the author has observed the emergence of three paths to success composed of capability clusters of blueprint elements. Readers may have observed the emergence of different paths to success composed perhaps of different capability clusters. And so these observations are not hard-coded. What capability clusters does your organization rely on? The three paths to success discussed here are termed the domain native, the well-managed, and the high-tech organizations. Each of these comes with recognizable strengths, weaknesses, best-suited situations, and risks. Matching what the project needs most with the appropriate best capability and strength of the enterprise is critical. While this may appear simple to some, it is often not done, and there is no recovery from this initial mismatch. Experienced and armed with a profound understanding of the domain and possessing a well-established harmonious relationship among stakeholders, the domain native supports the operation adequately and earns high marks from the user and customer. Talented heroes flourish in the domain native organization, and exceptional performance is visible. However, software project management is not highly valued, and there is a lack of understanding, commitment, and experience in software process maturity. As a result, the behavior of the domain native is less flexible when faced with change and is more resistant to new ideas. The domain native is best suited to a project where domain knowledge is needed immediately or where a highly specialized and deep domain knowledge is needed. The domain native is often the in-house organization evolving and maintaining the enterprise legacy system. The domain native, taken outside its native domain, lacks the project and process management capability to perform satisfactorily. Even within the native domain, the domain native is susceptible to being blindsided by new requirements accompanied by new problems outside the experience of the staff. The well-managed organization has an experienced project and process management capability. Though not especially qualified in a particular domain, the well-managed organization has learned how to learn and is able to evolve the necessary domain capability given time. As a result, the well-managed organization exercises commitment management, and delivers predictable performance. Furthermore, the project and process management capability strongly resists pressures to commit to a compressed schedule. The exceptional performance and heroics of individuals are not highly valued and may be actively discouraged. As a result, recognition for excellent individual contributions may be overlooked. Instead, team recognition is more publicly visible. The well-managed organization is best suited to a long, sustained activity, where the scope of the project is broad and spans multiple domains. The well-managed organization is suited to new development of unprecedented systems. Project-specific goals are committed to prudently and are generally achieved. The high-tech organization is totally consumed by the technology it features, such as object-oriented design and programming. It promises the elusive silver bullet. Where the technology delivers, the results may be exceptional. The high-tech organization does not manage commitments or deliver predictable performance. Where the technology falters, the project sponsor may abandon the high-tech organization or cancel the project. 30% of all software projects started are not completed. The high-tech organization is best suited to a situation where a breakthrough technology is needed to deliver results not obtainable otherwise. The high-tech organization is called upon to perform the high-risk option. It is high risk, high gain. With poor shared vision among stakeholders, the high-tech organization may perform the wrong job. Conformance to requirements and user satisfaction may be low. Without project and process management capability, the high-tech organization lacks flexibility. The state of strategic software management capability in an organization is like a fingerprint. It is unique and individual. To a large extent, attempts to classify this state into a simplifying framework, such as the Carnegie Mellon Capability Maturity Model Integration, CMMI, run the risk of oversimplification by picking just one dimension for its focus. Any one dimension may result in a limited number of capability states. For example, the CMMI, Software Process Maturity Framework, and its 5 levels. However, just one dimension cannot satisfy the full range of interest for today's large-scale software-intensive systems. An important purpose in evolving such a framework is to provide the means to reason about the state of the practice, the predictability of its application, and the priorities for improvement. The complexity and size of today's software-intensive systems and systems of systems require a broader framework of multiple dimensions. Even though each dimension is composed of a limited number of states, taken together in combination, the number of capability states may become uncountably large. Consider the straw man calculus for strategic software management, shown here. Shared vision times the software engineering process times the sum of software project management, software product engineering, and operations, divided by 3, plus domain-specific architecture. Paying attention to parentheses as you calculate this, a useful result occurs. If each dimension has 5 capability states, then the expression would take on values from 2 to 150. As a result, the calculus for strategic software management in an organization is potentially unique. Where does your organization fall within the calculus for strategic software management? Consider both readiness and importance in calculating risk, which could be the importance minus the readiness divided by importance. In computing the calculus for the paths of success control panels, the results are domain native 24, well managed 18, high tech 3. A composite score using the highest score for each element would be 56. In actual application with a dozen organizations, the range of results has been 10 to 36 for these dozen organizations. At the same time, the strategic software management capability in an organization is unlike a fingerprint. It is changing and dynamic. The people in the organization are growing professionally and gaining more experience each day. Their interpersonal relationships and shared experiences are enlarging the foundation of the organization's software capability as they discover new opportunities for collaboration and support. The spotlight of technology is continually revealing new and promising ideas that influence what is being asked for by consumers and what is being provided by producers. As a result, domain-specific architectures are always being refined, as are the management and engineering processes, methods, and tools that implement them. From an acquisition view, the discussion may help acquisition agents to select an organization already on the right track for the project. From a developer's view, the discussion may motivate the enterprise to realistically understand who it is and who it is not, and who it needs to become. Both communities need to ask, what is the larger problem? Is it too much cost and schedule overrun, or is it too little innovation? Here is my contact information. I would be happy to receive questions and have discussions with people on this important subject.